What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JusticeXFalls. We back at it again with another video. We're a little late tonight, but today we're going to be looking at how Resident Evil 4 revolutionized survival horror. I got a lot to say about this. Just by looking at that title, I have a lot to say about this game in particular and what it led to and things of that nature. So I was like, you know what? Let me cut the camera on. Let me react. I was supposed to do some Dead Space gameplay, but I got caught up today doing some things, and I didn't get to record it, so I realized I didn't upload a video of today, so I was like, you know what? Grind never stops. Let's get it in. So without further ado, let's get to the video.
Capcom faced a challenge. The original Resident Evil defined survival horror in 1996, but it ran the risk of becoming samey.
Why it
with
look
the fourth
like this?
game.
Oh, because of the game quality.
Deviate too far from the formula though, and they might unbalance the elements that made Resi great. It was on this knife edge that Capcom carved Resident Evil 4.
Indeed.
And many of its design approaches became industry standards. Here's how it revolutionized the survival horror genre.
Well now, time to cause some mayhem!
Survival horror had historically leaned heavily on psychological dread.
Cheryl? Is that Cheryl?
Characters.
Yeah, like it was you know, the original like survival horror games, like obviously one of the pioneers of it, you know, was the Silent Hill series, and I'm excited. The Silent Hill remake is coming out. We did the spotlight video, and I don't know why I have a screwdriver in my hand. It was just on my desk. I just picked it up. But yeah, it was slow. It was methodical. It tore at your emotions and your heartstrings a little bit. It kind of like brought you down into this psychological mode, like. And you were scared, you were worried, you were confused, and like you were anxious because you didn't know when something was gonna pop out at you. So that was the origins of, you know, survival horror, and it morphed into what we know now, because now every game is pretty much following the footsteps of Resident Evil 4. It's either you follow the footsteps of Resident Evil 4 or you follow the footsteps of Silent Hill 2, basically.
Wouldn't know if their nightmares were just hallucinations, while narrow, constricted environments peppered with tense scares defined the genre.
See, like, that's scary as fuck.
Resident Evil 4 added more schlock to the shock. The gameplay complexity ramped up. Players had to juggle more enemies, resources, and strategies to survive.
Even just
Players had to juggle more enemies,
even just resource management. That in itself was scary. Because even though the game pauses and you get a second to breathe, you got to move your stuff around. You got to heal. You got to be like, damn, I don't have enough powerful enough weapon to defeat this enemy right now. Like it was that in itself was scary. Just looking inside your case and seeing if you had enough resources to get past this next fight. That in itself was, you know, scary.
Resources and strategies to survive, relying on both firepower and wits. It was both an action and a horror game, which in the coming years would inspire more developers to combine genres. Say a first-person shooter meshed with an RPG.
Yep, BioShock was fire.
BioShock's lead level.
And now you see games taking pieces of BioShock and making it like Atomic Heart. We've yet to upload gameplay for that on this channel, but it's coming. It's coming. Just give me some time. But like, you see how that game was inspired by RE with the action and survival horror elements, and then another game came along years down the line, and many other games since this, because this came out what, 07? What they said, 07?
With an RPG.
Yep, it came out 07, like I said, and mad games follow suit behind this one. You know?
He's still breathing.
BioShock's lead level designer Bill Gardner said in an interview with Den of Geek, Resident Evil very much gave me the confidence to say, players can handle it. In fact, they're hungry for it.
We want it. We hungry for it, boss.
More complex gameplay made the static cameras of previous Resi installments unworkable.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 needed a camera that could keep pace with Leon and not disorient the player. Early in development, the team experimented with a dynamic camera, and you can actually see the idea in Devil May Cry,
yep.
which started life as the intended prototype of a new Resident Evil game, but became a whole new franchise when Capcom realized that the stylish, juggling action strayed too far from the series' roots.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Devil May Cry started out as a Resident Evil game, like Tony, like his name was supposed to be like Tony Redgrave, something like that. Me, I'm a huge fan of the Devil May Cry series. You can see it, like if you look back at some of my older videos from like 2 years ago, maybe even probably 2 years ago by this point. It was a lot of Devil May Cry gameplay in there, and I ran through that game. I've run through them games so quick every time it comes out. Like Resident Evil 5, like I didn't really have a channel back then. I didn't have the resources to make a channel, but I wanted to upload that, and I ran through that game in like 2 sittings, and I wasn't even playing for that long each sitting, maybe 3-4 hours each sitting. Probably not even that long, 2 hours. I ran through that game ridiculously fast. But yeah, it was supposed to be a Resident Evil game, but it was too action oriented, so they scrapped it. And then this game, Leon if you don't know the story, like he gets infected, and he was supposed to have like an arm that transformed into something, into like a, by the end of the game he was supposed to have like a zombie type arm or whatever, an infected type arm, and they took that idea and put it into Nero for Devil May Cry 4, expanded upon that. If you didn't know that, it's a fun little fact right there. And there was supposed to be like a Hookman character, because there was like an old demo that they put out. It was supposed to be like a Hookman type ghost type I keep saying infected, but it's supposed to be called a bioweapon in Resident Evil. It was rumors that he's supposed to be in the remake, that they're supposed to slide some of that stuff into the remake of RE4, but we've yet to see that. We don't know.
If Resident Evil 4 had continued down that route, a series of dynamic cameras would have been carefully positioned around levels, with the player seamlessly cutting between each as they moved. Capcom even showed an early build of the game at E3 in 2003 that showed this hybrid dynamic camera in action. Later in development, the Resi 4 camera was reimagined again.
Put it behind him.
It would hover over Leon's shoulder, tracking his movements and placing the player in the action. This third-person camera set the blueprint for the kind of precision aiming that became industry standard in all action shooter games thereafter. Resi 4 still retained the rooted controls of previous games while shooting, but with a third-person perspective, players were encouraged to be more methodical in their aim. They could be precise with different results depending on whether they shot a leg
blows your head off. I don't even think I'm supposed to show that.
One of the systems that Resident Evil 4 didn't shout about on launch was its dynamic difficulty.
Oh my god!
Die too many times and the game would quietly adjust its AI to make enemies less quick to attack, or even just remove enemies from upcoming encounters altogether. The system was carefully calculated to make sure players were challenged just enough to be tense, but never felt frustrated. These kinds of dynamic difficulty systems had existed before in games, but Resident Evil made a point of never mentioning it, in case players felt patronized or hard done by.
Right.
It kept playing.
Right, because you know, gaming culture, we're toxic. Everything is get good, scrub, and all that other stuff. So I'm glad that they opted to not tell us about that. But like, I mean, after a while, you start to notice, like, wait, because after you die, when you die in a game, I don't know about y'all, but me, I think about it. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go down this hall. There's gonna be 5 dudes over here. Knocked them 5 dudes out, boom, boom, boom. And then the part I died on came up. It was 3 dudes over there. Then another dudes came behind me. If you notice that it's not there, you're gonna be like, wait a minute. Did they make the game easier for me? I don't know. That's me. That's just me talking. I don't know if that's something that y'all go through.
Players focused on the task at hand, and in that hard to achieve state of flow.
Long time no see.
Resident Evil 4 was a landmark installment in the series, adding more than a few genre-defining features. You can re-experience them yourself when the remake launches on 24th of March on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. For everything from the return to Salazar Castle, keep it locked to IGN.
And that's another thing I've noticed, like Resident Evil's like fascination with castles and things of that nature, which is cool because that's a perfect setting for zombies of any type, because you know you have like the Spanish vibe with this game. You have like the it's not a castle, but it might as well be a fucking castle as big as the house is in Louisiana. You know, you have that southern vibe with the mold and things of that nature, and then you go back to the castle vibe with RE8, where it's like a Romanian, you know, Eastern European kind of vibe to it, very snowy and very gothic with the designs and things of that nature in the character designs and what's inside or whatever. But yeah, definitely RE is one of those, and people like to say that RE is not is like overrated. It's not one of the best games. It's one of the best games ever. It influenced so many games. Like I knew that off the top of my head just from being a gamer and growing up. And they mentioned a bunch of games here, like, and I like how they took a step, or they really jumped in the pool, like they really jumped in the pool with the action oriented style. Like those are my favorite RE games. Like 4, 5, and 6 are my favorite REs. You might look at me and say like you're wilding or you're bugging. Nothing's better than the original, or nothing's better than the RE remake. Nothing's better than the original RE remake, but me, I was not, as a kid, I've still played it, but because I like the challenge, but I was not a fan of the fixed camera angles. I'm gonna be honest. I like the dynamic camera angles that you get in Devil May Cry 5, and then I like the over-the-shoulder camera that became the industry standard for games moving forward. But like, I did not like that fixed camera shit, bro. Like, I still enjoy the RE remake. I still like it, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that fixed camera just wasn't hitting for me, because I feel like it was more of a, I know it's there on purpose to add to the scariness, but it doesn't even make me more scared. It just makes me more annoyed that I can't aim my shots where I want to aim them, and my resources is already limited. So you're creating an unnecessary barrier. And I know I just said, you know, get good, and that's what probably some of you are going to say in the comments, but it's just like there's a difference in clunky controls and cameras making the game difficult, and the developer designing the game in a smart and intelligent way that challenges you. There's a difference between that. I don't think it's fair when they give us clunky controls, buggy animations, janky cameras, and then say, "Oh, that's difficulty, overcome it." That's corny to me. So yeah. But that's enough of me talking. This video was only 5 minutes, and not even 5 minutes, and I'm already at almost 15 minutes on this video. I try to keep my videos around 10 minutes. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all think I'm wrong? Y'all think I'm right? Y'all agree with me? Let me know in the comments. So y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that other stuff, all that good stuff. This your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.